This is actually one of the first examples of portals where we kind of have two main types of portals in the game. We've got kind of obvious and non-obvious ones. This one is obviously an obvious one. And what the portals are is they're basically a rip in space. They are kind of like a fancy teleporter, but everything just works through it. You can shoot through it, you can walk through it.
That felt weird.
So, and they're totally seamless.
From the high desert in the great American Southwest, I'm Art Bell. And
Do you guys know who Art Bell is?
Bell, yeah. That's hilarious.
If you guys don't know who he is, he's kind of like this paranormal, where I mean like he's got a radio show and people call in. And he's kind of semi-retired right now. He does it like on weekends or like one weekend a month or something like that. And what we wanted some way for the player to know that they're still really close to Earth. And we decided that one way that would be really cool to do that would be to have the aliens actually intercepting Earth transmissions. So we talked about different radio shows and such, and then of course Art Bell came up. We contacted him, and he was totally up for it. He thought it was great. So we kind of, in a way, I mean, there's multiple places throughout the game where you encounter his transmissions, and he's kind of talking about what's kind of going on to the player at that point. So like when the player gets the vehicle, when the player gets the shuttle, the Art Bell broadcast is about people on Earth seeing the shuttle flying around and stuff like that. These are cool. These are, we call these item cabinets. And the kind of the DDA system of the game, the dynamic difficulty adjustment system, we don't actually have easy, medium, hard in the game. We just have normal mode, and then we have Cherokee mode, which is like ultra hard. And Cherokee mode is only unlocked when you played through normal mode. And what we have in the game is the game kind of monitors how you're doing, sees if you're playing well, if you're playing poorly, if you're killing the creatures quickly, if they're killing you too quickly, if you're killing creatures and they're not doing any damage to you at all, so you're too good. It'll ratchet the difficulty up or down based upon kind of how you're doing. So the game kind of tunes itself to the player. And then another part of the DDA system is these item cabinets. And when you actually open one up, they're filled with stuff and ammo, essentially. But it kind of evaluates what ammo that you've been using and kind of what weapon you favor, and will tend to give you a little bit more of what you favor, kind of what you need. So if you've been really low on a certain type of ammo for quite a while, it'll be more likely to give you that ammo. And we use that same system for these, and also for ammo that's kind of strewn around the levels, like that ammo over there. You can see we've got kind of little drips in this area, kind of as like a little subtle clue to help you know which way is true down.
I guess that probably really helps.
They actually go all the way. And creatures can use wall walk as well. So when I kill this guy, he'll actually fall up or down.
Can you knock him off the wall walk as well?
You can't. You can only kill them off of it. Similarly, the player actually can't be knocked off of it either. That was another thing we had on early on, where if you got hit like with a rocket or something, it would knock you off of it. But it felt totally unfair, so we eliminated that. There's another cool portal trick where that's actually me right there. So I could technically shoot myself and hurt myself. You can zoom in. I'm not going to kill myself now, but. So now I'm actually on that side. Oh, that's actually a vomiter right there. Vomiters, yeah. We're trying to set up kind of the environment as being a hazard as well. So there's these vomiters. There are, I'll find some of them. There are these tentacles that we call cilia that are actually like the ship kind of pushing through these metal structures that the inhabitants have built. So kind of the ship pushes through, and the cilia kind of have a couple different functions. One of them is, if you touch it, it'll do a little bit of damage to you. But also, the ship becomes aware, this living ship becomes aware of where you are, and so it can like send creatures in. Essentially, they kind of become triggers. Send creatures in, it'll send, have vomiters vomit on you, and so on and so forth. This is the world's most inefficient system ever. Where they carry the thing over to here, and it teleports away.
The slowest guy in the world to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he carries it over here, and then it teleports out, and then a new one comes in. Yeah, I don't understand the aliens. I don't know. So this is kind of another variation of that other puzzle where you have to push a pod again to blow up the membrane. Might as well take these guys out.
You can move pretty fast once you shoot him. Nice.
Are you hurt?
We
You said, "Are you hurt?" and then shot him. No? Yes, you are.
Kind of the thing with the research is there was kind of independent research done. There was like our writers did a lot of research for kind of the dialogue and so on and so forth. From a gameplay standpoint, we did a lot of research into various things and kind of took some stuff and appropriated it. Because like Geronimo, he believed that he could leave his body and could walk around in kind of a spirit form. So that's kind of was the inspiration for Spirit Walk. This is actually the first time the player learns to Spirit Walk.
Oh, cool.
Where you can drop your body. And your body is totally vulnerable at this point. Well, not in this room, it's not, but if you're on the ship and you leave your body, aliens will actually tend to try to find your body more so than the spirit, because they can't actually see the spirit at first, but if they can't find your body, after a while they'll kind of start detecting that your spirit is there and they'll go after your spirit. So when you're in this mode, you can walk through fire, whereas when I'm in my physical body, I can't get through it.
So, if they do attack your spirit, you take damage?
What you do is you end up losing spirit power. There's at this point you've got 2 bars over there, health and spirit, and they basically switch depending on which one you're in. And when your spirit is empty, you actually don't have the bow. Well, let me go forward. I'll get the bow here. But when you take damage, it takes away from your spirit power. When that runs out, you lose the ability to use the bow, which is the bow is the only weapon that you can use in your spirit form, and you can't use that weapon in your physical form. So, but we originally experimented with when you run out of spirit power that it knocks you back to your body, but that really wasn't all that fun because there are a lot of puzzles that are kind of time-based where you have to get through an area, flip a switch, do this, send your body across, on a platform or whatever. And the thing with that was it was really kind of frustrating to be really close to solving it and then you get kicked back because you run out. So you can actually be in spirit mode pretty much forever, but
You're not hurt, and your body's not hurt.
exactly.
So how do you
Exactly.
regenerate spirit?
A couple of different ways. The main way is when you kill enemies, they drop their soul, and you actually pick that up. You kind of pick it up in 2 different ways. You can go and touch it, or if you go into spirit, you'll suck in all nearby souls into you.
You know, Raziel. sucking it down.
Kind of, yeah, Metroid Prime, yeah. It was a really good mechanic that just worked out really well. So, because there are a number of times where you'll kill a guy at a distance basically, and you can't. You'll kill a flying guy, and you can't actually run over to pick his stuff up. So this is actually the bow where you first get it. So you have to spirit walk into the fire. And then another thing in multiplayer actually is, we didn't do it in single player because it was kind of annoying, but in multiplayer, your body makes a little noise, makes a special unique noise. So if you stash your body somewhere, someone can be running along and they'll stop and be like, wait a minute, I hear a dude. So you got to go kind of try to find the body. And then when you actually attack the body, there's just kind of this eerie little Native American tune that plays.
Okay, cool.
And when you actually attack the body in multiplayer, it does like double damage. So you can go up to him and you can smack him with a wrench and you'll probably kill him. Actually, we've had a number of times where like someone hides their body, and when you come back with whatever weapon that you had up when you first spirit walked. So a lot of times people have like a rocket launcher type weapon, and they'll leave their body and then they'll spirit walk. And if their body gets hurt, they come back and they can really quickly try to rocket someone. So there have been times when someone finds a body and they're like, oh yeah, here we go, I'm gonna take this guy out. And then you shoot him, and he comes back and rockets you. And so then you're dead. So people are like, what the, God damn it! Like I should have won. I don't think I've talked about this gun at all yet, actually. This gun is called the Leech Gun, and it's different than. Actually, I'll just take this guy out quickly. It's different than the other guns in which the ammo, wasn't found just kind of laying around. The ammo is actually these leech nodes. You go up to it. There's a little tip there, kind of explaining what to do. You actually pull energy out of that node from the wall into the gun, and there are a number of different energy types throughout the game. So depending upon whichever one you pull, it'll change the functionality of the gun. At the beginning, in the roadhouse that you're in, there's actually like alien, or there's human stuff there, like blackjack machines and stuff like that. And at the beginning, the aliens kind of grab everything from the roadhouse as well as when they grab the player. So there's kind of like these alien, they've kind of like messed with them and stuff like that. And the poker one is actually rigged up to cheat for you, which this is actually kind of funny, where I got an email from George at 3DR, and he goes, man, I was playing the poker one and I got a royal flush. I took a screenshot of it. It's so cool. And then I was like, George, everyone gets a royal flush. And he's like, oh, really?
Oh man.
But that's just in the actual ship. Back on the back in the Roadhouse, it doesn't cheat for you.
Shit, going fast.
So the aliens actually kind of can detect if you're on wall walk surfaces, and they know where to go to actually shut them down. So there's a number of places where you'll be wall walking and creatures will come in and shut it down on you. These are their life forces that they drop that I mentioned, where I could go pick them up or spirit walk and pull them in. So and then the kind of the thing with Deathwalk was it was something that we wanted to kind of keep the experience continuous. We didn't want to have to like reload, because loading a save game just kind of really takes you out of the game. But it's been really, from a design standpoint, it's been really, really interesting because there are a lot of things like the player always has to have some type of ammo, always. Because we've got certain things that are like shoot switches where you have to obviously shoot it to affect the world, so you have to have ammo at that point. So like this gun actually, when you're out, this gun will actually charge up to a certain amount, so you always have a couple of shots with this gun. Other things like we had to deal with, what if you jump into a death pit and die? And in that case, actually, we've got like resurrection points, so you'll come back at a certain spot. What if you're flying in the ship and you die? You can't just come back in midair and then fall or anything like that. So you have to come back like at specific spots throughout the levels. And then of course there was the issue of in playtesting, are people going to feel like they're just like crawling through the game of like I die and then I just come back and I fight and I die and then I come back. And we're worried that death wasn't going to have like wasn't going to feel tense or anything like that. But exactly. But from our testing, I mean, the testers have reported that it still feels tense and all that. It just, I mean, you're instead of like waiting for a load, you've got a little game that you're playing while you're waiting to come back. So I'm hoping that that Deathwalk-like feature will be something that'll be in all future Human Head games because it worked out really, really well.